Hi, hello.
There's a lot of you now. Fuck, I'm nervous. I am so nervous. Okay. Hello, hi. My name is Elizabeth. Fuck, I really wish I scripted this. I really wish I scripted this. Hi, I'm Elizabeth. Most people call me Ellie, and recently, a lot of people started subscribing to my YouTube channel, which, okay, I'm happy. I'm very happy. I promise I'm happy. This was all very sudden, and I'm still adjusting to all the good vibes. Everybody is constantly selling me, cause like, Jesus Christ, y'all are amazing, and wonderful, and very supportive, and I really do love you all. Okay, that being said, I keep getting a bunch of very specific comments on my videos, and I wanted to go ahead and come forward and talk about a few things. But first and foremost, let me tell you what this video is about. This video is about Season 2. I'm trying to make sure that it's definitely about Season 2. It's not going to be my review of Season 2. I'm actually working on like an actual scripted thing where I sit down and I talk, and I know what I'm going to say, and I'm very happy with it so far. It is going to take a while though. It probably will be out by around May 28th. The reason why it's going to take so long is because I've been trying to make this video. I've been trying really hard, and I tried really hard on the last video, and the truth of the matter is that really hurt my mental health, and I didn't sleep or eat or talk to the people who needed to be talked to, and I was just a mess for the week of making the last video, and probably the week of making this video. I haven't gotten as much sleep as I should have. So I'm gonna slow down a little bit. I'm gonna give myself time to be a goddamn human being and to really actually make something that I'm really proud of, because all of my videos on the Hollow have been really rushed. I don't know how obvious it is because I was recording one of my videos in my goddamn math class, but that's not normally what I do. Normally I'm very specific and I try to be very professional, I guess, about the stuff that I talk about. And the Hollow, I haven't given myself the opportunity to really treat the show with the amount of respect that I feel that it deserves. So for this next episode of, I guess, Let's Talk Pop, is that what we're still calling it? Whatever. The next episode of whatever I do on this channel, it will be on the Hollow Season 2, it will be scripted, I will actually put a lot of effort into it for once, but in order to do that, I just need to take my time and really actually just focus on it without neglecting my girlfriend or my platonic friends or just myself, because I'm really good at neglecting myself. Yeah, so that's what this video is. This video is going to be talking about Season 2, just my initial thoughts, my hopes, my dreams, my very personal life. I'm going to be addressing a few of the things that have come up in the comments section of my videos, just because I can, and I want to do this before I wanted to make a video before I disappeared for 3 weeks, and you guys never heard from me ever again. So this is just to tide you guys over, to answer a few questions that keep coming up, and to give me a little bit of sanity break to, like, think and mull over. And most importantly for me, actually, I really want your input on things that happen in this season. I feel like, justifiably, I feel like all of my content has been on the relationship dynamics between the characters, and I want to branch out and actually talk about the show at some point, because I think The Hollow is definitely worth talking about, and I definitely think Season 2 has a lot of really interesting things to talk about, and I want to hear your opinion on it. So throughout this video, I'm sure I'll ask you to, like, let me know what you think about a certain idea in the comment section down below, and I really hope you do, because I read all of the comments, and I love hearing from you guys so much. It's been such a freaking ride for me. That being said, there's a few things that I need to talk about really quick just as a brief, like, I don't know how to do it, how to not Hollow related topics that need to go up front, and then I'm gonna do a bunch of other personal stuff that's gonna go on after the Hollow, so feel free to just skip the last part if you want. This front part is important, so next video's hopefully gonna come up on May 28th, that's 2 weeks from today when I'm recording this. The quality of work will be good. I want to thank you all for fucking 650 subs. I'm pretty sure it was 600 yesterday, and I was gonna be like, oh man, I skipped my 500 plus upload video. I'm gonna have to make something special for 600. Now I'm at 650, and I don't know how to process any of this. I'm not built for this specifically. I don't know how obvious it is, but I'm very much an introvert, and I very much don't like asserting myself or talking with people on the internet, but I'm enjoying this so far. So thank you for the support. One of the things people keep asking me is, what's up with your voice, and are you a guy? Are you a guy? Just really quick, I'm a girl. 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 I promise you, I am a girl. I checked so many times. I'm a girl. Yeah, so I'm not mad that people misgender me, because I get it. My voice doesn't pass. It's not where I need it to be at the moment, but it's more that I've been misgendered by 10,000 people on the internet over the past week, and that, like, takes a toll. So I just wanted to come up here and say, hi, my name is Elizabeth. Most people call me Ellie. I am a girl. I use she, her pronouns. Yes, I am transgender. I mentioned that a few times in my last video. If you're coming here from the Is Adam Gay video, then it's totally cool that you misgendered me. I was still presenting as a guy back then. It would be cool if you could just be mindful of my pronouns. It's all good, whatever. I don't really care. The only reason I say this is because whenever a trans person gives a cis person permission to misgender them, it's usually because the trans person trusts them or whatever, but when a trans person does that publicly, it's kind of sort of giving permission all cis people to misgender all trans people, and that's not okay. So the only reason I'm talking about this is because if you misgender me, that's okay. Don't misgender my transgender friends. Please don't. We're gonna have a problem if we do that. Yeah, so I'm a girl. She, her pronouns. People are asking me why I went on a 10-month video hiatus. I'm gonna talk about that afterwards. TLDR, it's just a lot of really personal stuff happened, and I'll talk about it later, but we'll talk about it later, okay? Okay. Finally, we get to talk about Season 2, and I'm really excited to talk about it because it's very obvious that the writing staff really stepped up their game for this one, which isn't to say that Season 1 was bad, it's just that there were a lot of things in Season 1 that was stopping me from enjoying it quite on the level that the Hollow clearly wanted to be enjoyed. I feel like the first season, it really wanted me to get wrapped up in the conflict between the characters, and I couldn't because I couldn't like the characters too much. They were a little bit abrasive. They were a little bit useless for large chunks of the season. A good example of this is Kai, who basically just kind of sort of complains the whole time until he finally discovers his powers and he discovers his ability to, like, not be terrible. So, yeah, no, in this season, there's none of that. There's literally none of that. All of the characters are immediately useful and empathetic, and they care about each other, and they're friends, and they actually, like, get along even when they don't get along. It's very clear that there's a sense of camaraderie amongst the friend group, and I loved it. I ate it up. I think my favorite part of a show is when there's a bunch of characters and they're all friends, but I also feel like I could easily fit into that friend group, and I understood the dynamics, and I could totally, like, be there with them. I rolled my eyes with all the characters. I laughed when they laughed. There were a few, like, actual moments where I literally just couldn't stop laughing out loud because the comedy in this season was so much more on point, I feel. There was a lot of just general improvements overall. I was really confused as to how the Hollow functioned as a game in the first season in that it didn't feel like one. It didn't feel like I couldn't understand the rules. I didn't know why certain things were one way and not another. I didn't understand the importance of the Ishibo, for example, and in this season we finally learned that, like, oh, there's actual rules to this actual game, and it actually seems like something I would be very, very into. We're gonna try to avoid spoilers, but basically the way I see the Hollow is it's a escape the room game where your memory is wiped before. It's like a really extreme escape the room game. And it's built with a very specific narrative in mind for that escape the room scenario. Now that I have the framework and I have an overview of what's actually going inside the Hollow, what happened during season 1 that didn't quite make sense and why that happened, I definitely feel like season 1 is improved by season 2's existence. A few people were commenting on that they were a little annoyed that there was so much backfill, that instead of answering all of these questions up front in season 1, we didn't quite enjoy season 1 the way that we could have. And I think that's a fair and valid criticism. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I am saying that season 2 is really, really good. Season 2 is really, really good, and I love the way that they actually handled information in this season. I ended my video, my first review of season 1, recapping everything because I felt like that's what they did for the last episode of The Hollow, where they revealed that everything that was going on was actually just what was going on all along. There was none of that. I never felt like exposition was being handed to me on a plate. I had to actually work and think and really actually consider what was going on in the Hollow, and I was so utterly engaged in the story and in the world and the characters. Seeing characters from season 1 come back was so fun, especially because of the roles they put them in. I loved seeing Gustav in this season, or I guess Weirdy, as Netflix insists on calling him. He's Gustav. Weirdy is such a bad name. I'm sorry. Yeah, so season 2 is, I'm worried to say improvement. I'm worried to use those words because I feel like that puts down season 1, which is something that I really, really enjoyed. But that being said, I think that season 2 is a sequel that actually improves the original. That's my hot take on season 2. I really, really, really enjoyed the characters this season. I loved their dynamic. I loved how healthy it seemed, how well they were able to communicate. I loved seeing myself in Mira because I very much am that friend who's like, hey, we don't have to argue, and maybe I'll pick up the slack while you guys are arguing about it anyways. I see her as this really powerful, really empowering figure, and I got that sense from all of the characters. In season 1, I was kind of annoyed that Kai was just the funny sidekick character. He didn't really serve a purpose. He wasn't very useful until he figured out his powers, and then all of a sudden he was my favorite character because he was actually contributing to that. There wasn't that in this scene, in this season. I felt like all of the characters really worked together and meshed well, and they all brought something to the team. They were all more than just their stereotypes. Kai wasn't just a funny character, he was also kind and compassionate and empathetic. Adam wasn't just the leader, he was also kind of brooding, and he had anger issues, and he needed to be in charge. He was a bit of a control freak, and I loved seeing him get his hands dirty, but I also loved that in season 2 there's very clear boundaries. In season 1, I got the impression that Adam was kind of a sociopath, mostly because of that time he tried to kill 3 teenagers for a stick. I remember that. I feel like season 2 doesn't want me to remember that because this season's Adam is very empathetic, he's very caring, he's very protective of his friends, and I loved it. I loved it so much. I love seeing characters be both. I love that Adam has anger issues, but he's also a very, very good friend. That's so refreshing to see. I love that Mira is the mom friend. I love seeing that dynamic in the friend group, and I love watching her pull the team together. And as long as we're talking about characters, we should absolutely talk about the background characters in this. I want to give a special shout out to the people who designed the background characters in this season because, oh my god, Oh my god, there's so many memorable background characters in this season, especially in the first 2 episodes. We never got to see just people in the Hollow. Luckily, in this season, we get to see the background character artists actually like flex and bring the same amount of creativity and ingenuity that they brought to the rest of the cast, just to people who are in the background. What really surprised me and what I loved seeing was that there were people who actually looked like me in the background. As a transgender black girl, I don't get to see people who look like me, even though I am fucking adorable. Hey, future me, humble brag, can we put a picture of me into the video? just for reference, because I don't see representation a lot, and I think it's worthy of celebrating that this show has gone out of its way to include such a broad and diverse palette of people. It was so refreshing and so loving. Hey, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your video, but this is me. It's Ellie from the future. Woo-hoo-hoo. Okay, that was weird. I'm not gonna ever do that again. Hi. So, really quick, just look at this incredibly amazing, awesome picture somebody drew of me. Somebody drew a picture of me. Oh my god, I'm still so excited about this. I have to tell you, this is not fan art. That's not what this is. Somebody randomly drew me, at Anime Expo, and I wanted to give that person a shout out on my YouTube channel, but then the bad times happened. I never got around to it, so I wanted to take this opportunity to do this now, and I would have done this in the last video, but I didn't get their permission, so I waited, like a very patient, very good girl, and I got his permission, so yay! This was drawn by Rainbow23, they're on Instagram, he's amazing, he's wonderful, he's on YouTube also, so go send him some subscriptions, link as always in the all-knowing eye above. What else do I need to say? Just really quick, he drew this. The reason why he's getting a super special shout out is that he coincidentally happened to draw this, the week that I came out, and it made my year. It was so nice. Anime Expo was hard for me, but this was so nice. It was so wonderful and amazing and great, and I want to come up ahead really quick, because I always get annoyed when YouTubers do this, when they give somebody a shout out and then they're like, this is a cool thing an artist did for me. Cause I'm an artist too. I would like to know how to get in contact with my favorite YouTubers. I'm on Instagram. If you draw me and if you meet the bare minimum of a decent person, I'll probably give you a shout out. I'm very touched by art, especially as somebody who occasionally, I don't call myself an artist, I occasionally hold a pencil. So art, it's something I love. It's something I love seeing. If you would like to draw me, and you want it to be shown off here on the channel, just text me on Instagram. I don't know my Instagram profile off the top of my head, but I'm sure future Ellie will give you exactly what that is. So, yeah, talk to me on Instagram. Show me your art. I'm so down for all of this. I'd love to platform more people. I'd love to give more shout outs to people who deserve it, like Rainbow23, who's amazing and wonderful and made my year. So yeah, that's the end of this rant. Now back to the Hollow, I think. I hope this wasn't too long. Okay, bye! And the new characters in the Hollow, the actual NPCs, they were some of my favorite characters of all time. I don't want to get into spoilers, and I don't want to tell you which one was my favorite character, because I want you to tell me which one was your favorite character. If you're wondering if it was Puzzlehead, the answer is no. He was my second favorite. Puzzlehead he's an asshole. He's just an asshole. That's his entire purpose in life. He is made of spite and not even villainy. He's just there to be a dick. And oh my god, I love him so much. he doesn't get in the way of the characters. He's just there to be like, "Hi, you fucking suck," and oh my god, I stan him. I worship this god. He's amazing. I love him so much. Oh man, the background characters in this season were phenomenal. I loved all of them. I enjoyed hearing their struggles. I loved watching them solve their puzzles, especially since one of the problems I had in season 1 was that I solved all the puzzles really quickly because I felt like the Hollow was really gearing itself towards a younger audience, so I didn't blame the Hollow for that, but I did get a little frustrated when characters wouldn't immediately solve the problem the way that I wanted them to. And in this season, that doesn't happen. That absolutely does not happen. There weren't puzzles where I was like, oh, I don't understand, but it was more like the characters heard what I was saying and immediately tried it, and they were like, oh, that doesn't work. We have to try something else. And really, that's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. I wanted the characters to actually think about things for 2 seconds and to try the easier route. Naturally, with all of their new superpowers that they now know and have a very good control over, the writers had to work extra hard to make sure that the actual conflicts that the characters faced were something that was conflicting. What they did was they relied a lot on internal struggle. I think anybody who's watched season 2 would agree with me that there was a lot more struggling with the self, and that was great to see. I loved watching that, but what I'm referring to specifically is Kai, for example, can throw fucking fire at all of the problems. And I don't know if you've ever tried it, but fire will solve all of your problems. All of them can be solved with fire. So season 2 did a really good job of presenting scenarios where fire wasn't the solution, which blew my mind because I am an arsonist. I will light anything on fire, and it will always turn out well because fire is just, it's magic. I love it. Anyways, God, I need to stop talking about this before I actually get arrested. What else? What else about season 2? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my freaking god. You must be so mad at me. I haven't brought up what happened in episode 2. I haven't even brought up what happened in episode 2. I've been gushing so hard about this goddamn show that I forgot that episode 2 is fucking spectacular, and I loved it. For those who don't know, I'm not going to tell you here because obviously the writers really wanted you to come in blind, otherwise they would have told you this sooner. It's such a good scene in season 2. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about in episode 2, I should say. There's a moment where everybody who's been in my comment section has been literally screaming, because it's a very blunt, very telling, very powerful scene. And I won't go into specifics. I refuse to go into specifics, which I understand how frustrating that can be because everybody who knows what I'm talking about is begging me to talk about episode 2, but I want to give my overall just opinion on it without giving away any telling details. I was unbelievably happy with that scene. I was over the moon. I feel like I should clarify something too. I think that it would be very easy for people to look at my channel and then look at me and go, oh, you're only excited for episode 2 because that got you an insane number of views. And no, I'm excited about episode 2 because it was such a phenomenally well-written scene. It was very blunt, very to the point, very not in the way of the story. I feel like when stuff like episode 2 happens, immediately the entire focus goes to what happened in episode 2, the conflict that could be around that, but in this series, that didn't happen. Not to mention that, like, we see immediate understanding and empathy and compassion, and that should be the correct response to what happens in episode 2. I need to stop saying what happens in episode 2. I need to actually write a goddamn video for once. Jesus Christ, I hope I'm making sense. But some people were a little annoyed that what happened in episode 2 didn't have any consequences to the overall story, and I understand that. I understand. I empathize with your opinion and your viewpoint. It wasn't my experience. I was very, very glad that what happened in episode 2 stayed in episode 2, that it didn't matter, that it didn't define anything, because ultimately, it's such a trivial thing at the end of the day. I think I talked about it a lot in my last video I made. We're getting into spoiler territory, I'm so sorry. But I talked about it in my last video, and I'm personally more partial to seeing what happened in episode 2 being treated as if it's not a big deal, because I want to see what happened in episode 2 be an everyday normal occurrence, as simple and as easy as brushing your teeth or as telling somebody that you like a really good show. I want that to be normalized. I feel like it's important to reframe the conversation about what happened in episode 2, not specifically about what happened in episode 2, but about the broader sense, the cultural context about what happened in episode 2. Right now, we live in a very specific zeitgeist where what happened in episode 2 is acceptable, but it's still slightly taboo. And I hate that it is taboo, because a lot of young, very, very impressionable people came to my channel to tell me that, like, oh, they can't watch the season anymore. They can't watch The Hollow because of what happened in episode 2. Their parents saw, and they're not allowed to, and that's horrible. That makes me so sad. I grew up in the exact same environment that those children did. And I empathize with that, and I sympathize with you, and it's so sad to me that what happened in episode 2 is still so stigmatized that children are no longer allowed to view this really fantastic show that tackles a lot of very serious subjects and tackles them well. It's sad to me that these children won't be allowed to see really good representation. And I mean, in my own personal life, I put off what happened in episode 2 so long and for so many reasons, but one of them was because I was really scared. There's a very specific narrative about what happens in episode 2, that a lot of us that have to do what happened in episode 2, we have to go through. That it's hard and challenging, and it is very hard, and it's very challenging, and it's very dangerous. If you're not in a safe place, don't do what happened in episode 2. Fuck, I need to just say it out loud. I really do. I know I do, but we're just not going to. But my point is, what I'm trying to communicate to you is that what happened in episode 2 shouldn't have been a big deal. It shouldn't have affected any of the story. It shouldn't have changed any of the character dynamics, and I'm so glad that it didn't. I'm so glad. A lot of people have already come into my comment section to talk about what happened in episode 2 and to really discuss it with me, and a lot of people have brought just a lot of insight and fresh perspectives that I never would have considered. So if you've come to my video to talk to me about your personal experience with episode 2, thank you so much. I really do read all of the comments. I really appreciate other people's perspective and insight on this. So all that being said, I really enjoyed season 2 just so much. It was such a powerful story. It's such an interesting debate from like a philosophy perspective. I didn't think I'd have to break out some of my old philosophy textbooks to watch a children's cartoon, but god damn it. What do you have to say about Skeet's decision? Because I have some words. I have some words that I've written down that I can't read to you just yet because we're gonna have to wait till May 28th. But I'd love to hear other people. How do you feel about what the characters went through, especially towards the end of the season when they finally know the big twist of the season? How do you feel about that? How do you feel about Skeet and his choices? How do you feel about, I guess, the overall ending? There was a lot of people who were very disappointed with the ending, and I myself was kind of sort of one of those people. It wasn't enough to like ruin the show for me, but it made me sad in ways that I can't express without getting into spoiler territory. Mostly because, to me, it felt like the characters ultimately gave up, and that's not what happened. What happened is that they reaffirmed their values, but they did it in a way that left me personally a little unsatisfied. I really wanted them to not just reevaluate their self-worth, but to really assert their self-worth. So I wish that the ending could have been tweaked just a little bit more to give the characters a little bit more validity in my eyes. I don't know how to better put it. But like I said before, that was like peanuts. I was so down for everything in season 2. All of the new characters were fun. All of the old characters were even better now that they had their memories back. It was such a good season. It's okay. there are sequels that are better than the first, and I kind of want to say that this is one of them. This is one of those seasons that I definitely enjoyed more than the first, for just an infinite number of reasons. Oh my god, it was so good. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the characters, the character designs, who your favorite character was, what your favorite NPC was specifically. I'd love to hear that, and obviously I'd love to know why those were your favorite characters. Why did you connect to them? Because I had very specific reasons to connecting to the ones that I did. Not just because all of the characters were really fun, but because a lot of them spoke to a very vulnerable side. All of them had problems. They all had things that needed to be solved. I think Puzzlehead is the most damaged and psychologically interesting characters I've ever read. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because he's a dick. He's a dick, and that's his entire thing, and I love him so much. He's my baby. But still, he is my second favorite character. I am curious as to what other people would think my first favorite character is. I'll let you know if you get it right. Don't cheat and go into the comment section if I tell somebody when they finally get it right, because I think, oh my god, it was such a good season. I'd love to hear from you guys. Oh my god, okay, I feel kind of bad. I feel bad going from something as fun and as amazing and as beautiful as the Hollow to talking about my life, my personal life, and a lot of people have been wondering a lot of things about me, if I'm okay, what I'm up to, if there's going to be more content. I already answered that. There will be. I'm working on it right now. May 28th, more Hollow stuff will come out. If you don't want to be bummed out, I won't be mad at you if you stop listening here. I'm going to talk about some personal stuff in a lot of really vague ways. I just want to say that everybody who sent me a positive message, I love you. I love you, I really do. A lot of YouTube creators talk about how parasocial relationships can be potentially dangerous, and I agree. I want to make this clear that, like, I'm very aware of my role as a creator on this website, but I also want to add that it works both ways, apparently, and nobody told me that. I'm very much attached to my audience. I'm very much protective of you guys now. There's no way I'm gonna let assholes take over this comment section, I hope. I really do love you all. If you want to stop here, that's okay. If you're bothered by transphobia, I would recommend stopping listening to this here. You need to protect your mental health, and I don't want to force this on you. If you're a questioning transgender person, I might recommend stopping this video here, because I don't want to scare you off from doing something that you might very well need to do. But I do have to talk about why I went on a hiatus for so long, and this is kind of sort of, it should be a second video, it should be, but it's not going to be, just because I need to work on the Hollow, I need to work on other stuff, I need to actually talk to my fucking girlfriend for once, I need to talk to all of my friends, they miss me, they think I've gone mad with power and that I've started a cult. Some people noticed that I joked about starting an LGBT mafia in the comments section, and they're very hung up on that. We're all part of the LGBT mafia. It's a thing now. It doesn't matter though. So yeah, if you're a gaybie, I would recommend just turning this video off, go enjoy some chamomile tea, enjoy yourself, but I do have to talk about this because a lot of people were wondering, and I don't want to leave a novel in their comment section every time somebody asks me where I've been. So yeah, let's actually talk about this. Jesus Christ, I don't want to do this. So why the hiatus? A few people asked, and the answer is, I can't talk about it publicly. I legitimately can't talk about it publicly. I can barely talk about it privately, to be honest, mostly because of personal trauma, mostly because it was bad. It was bad, and it was bad, and it was bad, and I don't want to talk about it. But I do have to address it because it just keeps coming up. A lot of people are worried about me, and I'm very aware of that. Thank you for worrying about me. I promise you I'm safe. Everything's fine. But yeah, so why the hiatus? People noticed that I was missing for 10 months. Basically, what it looks like on my channel is that I came out as transgender, and then I stopped making videos for 10 months, and then I came back to talk about the Hollow. And that's not what happened. That's not what happened at all. That's partially what happened, but it's not really what happened. So what happened was something very personal, very scary, very bad happened to me, and I had to remove all of the videos that showed my face in it, basically. All of the videos that weren't me talking about cartoons on the internet. Those had to get taken down. So there were videos of me after I came out where I was showing off and talking about my transition, the struggles of being trans. This was basically like a vlog channel for a long time. But I had to pull those videos for personal reasons that I can't get into. So it looks like I disappeared, but I didn't actually. The funny thing is that a lot more videos, before I came out, those videos are gone too. Which is very sad to me, because there's a lot of moments in those videos where you can clearly tell that I'm struggling with being transgender, even though I don't have the words to articulate it. I'm sad and frustrated that those are gone now. I can't share those with people. I wish I could, but I can't. I really can't. I'm sorry about that. I promise I'll make more transgender-related videos in the future. It's all I can talk about, it's all I think about, because I have to. But yeah, no, a bad thing happened. I had to delete a bunch of videos, and it looked like I went off the grid, but I didn't. I did later on, though. So the real hiatus was actually about 4 or 5 months, maybe even 3 months. I honestly don't know. I don't care. I don't want to look it up. I don't want to think about it. So this doesn't matter, because all of these videos are private now. But in late December, I was in a really, really bad place, mentally and physically and financially, emotionally too. It was a really dark time. I think we can all agree that 2019 was hard and that 2020 has been harder, but for me specifically, 2019 of December was just a real challenge, in my life. I guess the biggest thing that stopped me from being able to make more content was I lost my job. I lost my job. I lost my job. Some people found out that I was trans, and they didn't fire me because of it. But it no longer became an environment where I felt comfortable in, especially since there was a lot of sexual harassment going on, and I couldn't take it anymore. I left, and I don't want to go back. I really, really don't want to go back. So yeah. I lost my job. That was hard. And afterwards, I couldn't find a new job because nobody wanted to hire a transgender woman. So I had a really tough decision to make. Do I wait and test my luck and potentially risk not being able to afford my HRT anymore? Or do I just freaking bite the bullet and go to work as a guy? And eventually I was forced to work as a guy, and it sucked. I was forced out of the closet eventually at that job. But yeah, no. So December, I was basically jobless. I didn't get a job until January. And while this was all going on, I don't want to talk about it, but I was in a really toxic relationship. It wasn't because the person I was with was a bad person. It was more because we were bad for each other, I think. I feel, maybe, hopefully. I'm not mad at this person, but it wasn't healthy what we were doing. It wasn't good for me, and it sapped a lot of my energy, a lot of my emotions, a lot of my happiness. And it was just one more thing that was getting in the way of me being able to function as a human being. I was scared that I'd have to detransition just because of purely fucking financial reasons, and on top of that, the person who I was turning to for support wasn't supporting me, and in fact they were hurting me in a lot of ways that I'm still recovering from. So that happened in December, and thank God he eventually dumped me in January, I think, and my life, it sucked for like a few weeks, but my life immediately improved afterwards. So that sucked. Also, so on top of both of those things, the thing that actually made me have to delete half of my channel happened in December, and that fucking crushed me, because there were a number of people who came to my content just purely to watch a transgender woman transition and to get tips and pointers, and I had a community of very supportive people, and I had to abandon them, and that sucked. That really fucking sucked. I'm actually tearing up thinking about it. If you're here from before I had to delete everything, thank you for standing by and waiting for me to come back at my own time when I was capable of doing it. I promise I'm safe. I promise everything is okay. But that was hard. That was really hard. I felt like I lost a whole 2 years worth of fucking progress, because that's how long I've been working on this channel. 2 years of videos got deleted, and they can't go up anymore. And I'm sorry for that. So on top of all of that, I know I keep saying this phrase, but really December was a shit show. I became severely depressed. I became dependent on alcohol. I did some things to myself that weren't safe, that weren't good, that weren't healthy. I promise I'm fine. I promise everything's okay. But I really struggled, and I came out to my parents. My parents eventually found out that I was transgender. They were wondering why I was wearing girl clothes all the time, and they were supportive eventually. Which is good. But they weren't in the moment, so while I was dealing with all of that, my parents were threatening to kick me out of the house for being transgender. Keep in mind that I live in SoCal and rent is impossible to afford here, so I would have been homeless and jobless, and my boyfriend at the time wasn't supporting me the way that I needed to be supported, and it was all too much. It was all too much, and the thing about December, the thing about December is that it took away all of the things that helped me cope as a human being and function, and replaced it with nothing. So while I focused on more and more of my very specific problems, I also became more desperate to solve those problems, and I was just a mess, and December didn't get better so much as the number of distractions and the number of things that could have possibly gone wrong became so great that eventually I got better. I got better purely because there was nowhere else to go. I didn't hit rock bottom, but god damn it, there wasn't a lower than that. So yeah, no, that's what happened. And oh my god, I was also transitioning. Jesus Christ, I was also transitioning. I finally started hormones in December. I think it was in December. It was either December or like a month before then. So I was finally starting to pass just even more than I already did. And, people started to harass me, not online, in real life. There was a few assaults, and sexual, and I don't want to talk about it. Please, please, for the love of God, don't make me talk about it. But yeah, it's hard to talk about children's cartoons when you're terrified that one of your stalkers is gonna find you again. So yeah, it was just a lot. So the reason why I'm telling you this is that the 10-month hiatus, it wasn't 10 months. It was 4, and they were 4 of the shittiest months of my life. Jesus Christ, give me a second, I need to stop recording. Okay, I feel just a lot better. The rest of that sentence was, those 4 months were really, really shitty parts of my life. And I genuinely considered just walking away from YouTube altogether. And when my videos started doing well again, I had that thought, that impulse to just be like, oh, okay, this is what happened. Some people watch these videos, I'm never gonna make more again, I'm not gonna reach out. And I was ready to do that. I was ready to walk away from YouTube altogether. And what stopped me was that after 4 months of just pain and working on myself and trying to get to a better place, I finally am at a better place. And all of a sudden there was this overwhelming flood of love and support from complete strangers, and I'm just so happy that you guys like my content. I want to do better. I want to make better things, and I will make better things, but I'm so happy you like them how they are now. I promise I'll get better at this in the future. I'm still working out some kinks and getting rid of some of the rust from not making videos for so long, but it really warmed my heart that so many people found my content and found it relatable, and like, I keep getting comments. I keep getting comments from like teenagers telling me that like, oh, your video made me cry, and damn, your comment made me cry. I love all of you. I love all of you so much. I really do read all of the comments. People seemed surprised when I came in to tell them like, oh yeah, thank you for your support. But I read all of the comments. I really appreciate them. But I love you guys. I love you. I do love you. That's not entirely the reason I want to get back into YouTube. I'm not here to be famous. I'm here to talk about cartoons on the internet. But one of the major deciding factors for me to come out of retirement, so to speak, was that I looked at the narrative of my channel. I looked at the narrative. I looked at the hiatus, and what it looked like happened was I made videos about cartoons on the internet, and then I came out as transgender, and then I fucking disappeared, and nobody ever heard from me again. And I hate that narrative. I hate that narrative so much. I don't want that to define me. I don't want to come out only to disappear. I want to be seen as who I am, and I want to make art as who I am, and I'm not going to disappear. I'm stronger than that. I'm better. I'm better than who I used to be. I'm better than that person. I want to make better videos than I did before I came out, and look, I love you, and if you stick with me, I promise that I will absolutely make you proud of me. I'm gonna get better at this. I promise. Jesus Christ, this is like an hour of audio I have to edit. Oh my god, this is gonna take so long. I have to cut it off here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. I really appreciate and love all of you. I know I keep saying that, but I can't say it enough. My name is Elizabeth. Most people call me Ellie. I have to remind you that my pronouns are she, her. Please respect them. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the future. Goodbye.